This is a river that's dying of thirst. The Yongding is the biggest river in Beijing. Once rushing with strong currents, it's now just a stream, a shadow of its former self. Environmental activist Zhang Junfeng says it's been more than a decade since the river was full.
Climate change has been the major factor that made the river dry up, but human activity has accelerated the process. The capital city's growing population and rocketing economy are steadily depleting its rivers, lakes, and underground aquifers.
Before the 1950s, the Yongding was notorious for overflowing its banks, often causing floods. Now, though, it's quite the opposite. This is where you can best sense how much the river has dried up. And the riverbed is about 330 meters wide and 10 meters deep. But look at here. There's nothing but sand, and you can tell it has been years since it's been covered by water. The thirsty river reflects a bigger freshwater crisis Beijing is struggling with. There are 17 mid- and large-sized reservoirs in the city, but they've been plagued by drought for 13 years in a row. And the city's two main drinking reservoirs are only 10% full. As a result, Beijing has been importing water from neighboring Hebei province since 2003. The city's water authority says there's only 100 cubic meters of water available to every person in Beijing each year, about the same amount used to do 100 loads of laundry. But the city's current water demand is around 3.6 billion cubic meters a year, meaning it now outstrips the available local water supply by more than 1.3 billion cubic meters. The water authority says that gap will only grow bigger as more people move to Beijing to support its fast-growing economy. Many Beijingers, though, are still unaware there's a serious water shortage. Chen Hongyu is a 23-year-old graduate student who's lived here for 4 years. Washing dishes and doing laundry are part of her daily routine. Like most people, she doesn't give a second thought to turning on the tap and letting it run.
I've never realized Beijing is in a water crisis. My friends once told me about it, but it's never really been reflected in my everyday life. There were only a few times when the property management company had to cut off the water supply for pipe maintenance. Other than that, water supply in my apartment is fine.
The problem is not apparent in public either. The Lugo Bridge, or Marco Polo Bridge, is one of the oldest bridges in Beijing. The Yongding River used to run under the bridge, but the water under it now didn't get there by natural means. I am standing on the bed of the Yongding River in southwest Beijing. On my right is the man-made lake that was built in 2007. It helped to restore this area into one of the 10 most scenic spots in the city, just as it was in ancient times. By looking here, you'd never know Beijing is going through a water crisis. But look over here. This is a golf course that has been built on, used to be part of the river. It's a clear example of just how much the river has dried up. In fact, 7 golf courses have been built on the riverbed, stretching about 30 kilometers long. Many people say it's safe to build on the dry land because the Yongding is dead. The city government, though, is trying to save it. In recent years, it's implemented new water conservation measures. For example, the municipal government has closed down a number of heavy industries, cut down on irrigated farmland, and improved irrigation practices. And central government is also taking steps. It's building a series of underground pipes and channels to pump water from the wet south to the arid north. When complete, it'll supply 22 billion cubic meters of water to about 440 million people. But Zhang Junfeng says these measures are only band-aid solutions. He wants the government to raise the price of water to get people to be more responsible with their consumption.
The current price of water does not illustrate the water shortage completely. The future water price should be made at a more reasonable level and let capable enterprises as well as people carry more economic responsibility and raise the public awareness of saving water.
In 1949, the government built the Guanting Reservoir to protect the capital from the floods, often caused by the overflow in Yongding. Today, it's no longer a problem. But now the city faces another challenge in balancing water conservation with its rapid development. This small trickle provides these children with relief from the hot, humid summer. But everyone will have to play their part if the Yongding stands any chance of being revived into a rushing river. For World Insight, I'm Tang in Beijing.